Hello viewers, my name is Videlis Njoki and this is my surname. Welcome to 1 p.m. news, where we are going to share stories about the locals and also international. And let's start with our news bulletin. The first one is African and Caribbean nations unite, call for preparations and financial systems overhaul. African and Caribbean nations are intensifying their push for reparatory justice and fundamental overhaul of the global financial systems following a recent summit in Addis Ababa. The historic gathering brought together leaders from the African Union and Caribbean countries who issued a joint declaration demanding a more equitable global systems that addresses the needs of all nations with equal attention. The central pillar of the declaration is the call for reparatory justice, seeking restitution for the enduring economic and social consequences of the transatlantic slave trade and colonialism. Leaders from both regions emphasized that these historical injustices continue to impede development and perpetuate a global economic order that unfairly benefits former colonial powers. On to our second news item. The Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has declared that the traditional era of office workers wearing suits and ties is nearly its end. Speaking during the African Employers Summit 2025 event, Kindiki suggested a shift in the nature of work, moving away from formal attire towards a more flexible and practical approach. And this has to come to an end where people are always wearing the suits. And it was discussed during the Africa Employers Summit 2025, where he said it's not a must workers to continue wearing these suits. Is also the Deputy President he said that we need to try to improve and focus on being productive and have an output rather than on strict dress codes. He implied that the modern work environments and evolving global trends necessitate a departure from rigid corporate dress norms.
Are asking employers for greater flexibilities at the workplace, and therefore the era of tie and suit wearing workers could be coming to an end. And that's what the young people are demanding, that you don't need a tie to be productive. Going forward, therefore, we must engage our young people, listen to them, integrate their thoughts as we define the worker of the 21st century. We ask government, or rather we ask the private sector and employers and businesses generally to partner with government so that we can support young people's engagement, and this will benefit both the employers and the government. Businesses can also be at the forefront of mainstreaming government-led youth, women, and persons with disability strategies. For example, here in Kenya, we are providing opportunities for these categories to take part in government procurement through the Access to Government Opportunities Program, AGPO. And therefore, businesses can help us by also internally insisting that part of their procurement goes to young people, women, and people with disabilities within what they do. This approach will expand the threshold of beneficiaries and create more inclusivity.
As you have seen, the Vice President Kindiki, he said it's not mandatory for people to wear shirts and ties in the office. He wants to see a change in this, and not only focusing on that traditional culture of wearing suits. And we hope many corporates and also many institutions are going to embrace what Honorable Kindiki said. On to our next news item. The Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife, Alfred Mutua, he has lauded President William Ruto as the nation's #1 laborer, working tirelessly for the people of Kenya. Speaking at the Africa Employers Summit 2025 event, Mutua praised the president's work ethic and commitment to public service. The CS highlighted the president's dedication to implementing policies aimed at improving the lives of ordinary Kenyans. The remarks come amid ongoing public discourse about the government's performance and its efforts to address economic challenge. Let's see the video above.
Your Excellency, when the Almighty God decided he wanted to build an ark to save the people, he looked for a laborer called Noah. And Noah was able to work together and get the ark moving with his family. When the Egyptians decided to build the pyramids, they looked for laborers, and they used slaves to build the pyramids that we see today sitting in Cairo and other places. In today's world, we are still using workers to work. We still have employers who are busy getting their Noahs, their arks built by very many laborers. We still have some slave labor that we are dealing with in our world today that we are trying to tackle so that people actually are not enslaved as they used to be many years ago. It's a collaboration between the employer and the worker. The government of Kenya has worked very hard to ensure that there is collaboration between the government, the employers, and the workers for generations to come. The government of Kenya is the largest employer, and our president is employer #1. Our president, William Ruto, is also the #1 laborer working for the people of Kenya. And it's at that point that it is my pleasure to welcome the second chief employer and the second chief laborer of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, to address us. Let us all be upstanding.
You have seen that the CS for tourism, he has seen that the president is really working very hard, because most of the people have been questioning about the performance of the president, but he has made the economy to improve in our country. The CS for tourism, Honorable Mutua, spoke today. On to our next news item. The Media Council of Kenya, MCK, is facing criticism for its defense of Law Society of Kenya, LSK President Faith Odhiambo, who is serving on a government-appointed panel tasked with compensating victims of the recent protests. The MCK stance has drawn fire from various quarters, with critics arguing that the council should not be seen as taking a side in a matter that has generated public debate. The controversy stems from the formation of the panel, with some questioning the integrity of the process and the selection of its members. In a statement, the MCK defended its position, asserting that Odhiambo, as the LSK president, has a professional and ethical right to serve on the panel. The council maintained that her role is crucial in ensuring that the victims are justly compensated and that their rights are upheld. As I have explained in that story, there have been a lot of criticisms between the LSK and the LSK president is continuing to serve all Kenyans and to make sure all people who lost their lives during the protests are compensated equally without any challenge. And she's going to ensure that justice will be served. On to our next news item. The United Opposition has reaffirmed its commitment to presenting a single presidential candidate for the 2027 general election, with leaders stating that high-level consultations are underway to build a formidable ticket to challenge President William Ruto. Speaking at a separate event, opposition figures reiterated their resolve to live up to the coalition's name by prioritizing internal consensus over individual ambitions. In addition to their focus on the upcoming election, the opposition also criticized the silence of Defense Cabinet Secretary Soipian Tuya on recent matters concerning Kenyan sovereignty.
Sisi tumeshikana kama United Opposition na tumekubaliana tutatoa candidate moja wa kung'ang'ana na William Ruto. Si ndio? Si ndio? Candidate mo?
This is serious. This is a revolutionary moment. If we get it wrong, this country will never be the same again.
Tusiwe watu wa kutumia Mheshimiwa Kalonzo ndio tuweze kuvuka. Tunaelewana? Maneno ya kutumia party leader imeisha bwana. Kila mtu aingie kwa field ajipiganie. His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, tunasema sasa ni yeye official. Official nini? Opposition.
So tutakuwa na utofauti ya mawazo. Lakini Rigathi Gachagua ananiita. Ananiambia wewe Cleo, wewe pia unatetea vijana sana. Kila saa unataka vijana hata wazee pia wanataka kuwafanya kwa uongo.
Lazima hao majenzi na milinio watusaidie. Lakini pia lazima tutafute mtu mmoja wawili wako na experience, wanakaa na hao vijana wetu wanawaguide.
Minister anayehusika, if he has any credentials, should have addressed this issue. The Minister for Defense ananyamaza kimya, rais mwenyewe ananyamaza kimya, watu wa Mandera walia.
As we have seen, that we are going to ensure that the campaign and the people who are campaigning for the general elections of 2027, they are continuing to plan themselves. And we are going to hear from them very soon. There might be some concerns, as you have heard from the previous story. Thank you so much for watching Science TV at 1. But we're going to take a short break and we'll be back shortly with Ben Warangai for the sports news. Enjoy your lunch. Bye-bye.